Baen Books is in big trouble, and people are starting to notice across the internet at this point. Now, I was the first to report on situations that were going on, and if you don't know what happened, a spinoff has shown up called Arc Press, and Arc Press poached 3 Baen Books editors, to move over, and you can't lose that big of your editorial staff as a company and be in good shape like that. They've also poached Larry Correia, Baen Books' biggest author, with a new series in a modern fantasy setting, which is his wheelhouse right there, which is going to be a big blow to Baen, as Larry Correia's attentions are now going to be split between his Monster Hunter stuff here and other places. There's been a lot of cope that's been going on, and a big press tour that's happened. Of course, a lot of people didn't see it because these people don't understand modern press. That's part of the reason why Baen Books is having so much trouble at this point. But we'll get into the whole situation now. It's being covered by mainstream science fiction news in Jason Sanford. Now, Jason Sanford, tried to destroy Baen's bar back in the day. I'll go into all the lore of this because there's way too much, and it's a really interesting situation right here. We'll talk about it like we always do in the channel, covering everything in science fiction and fantasy. Please hit the like and subscribe button for the real science fiction and fantasy news. Really appreciate all of you guys for being here. And I am a science fiction author myself. This is my Stars Entwined. It's part of the Orytion War. It's a trilogy, a space opera that if you are a Baen Books old school fan, you'd love this. They really missed out not publishing this. They didn't have an option to. I never asked them. But it would have been something that would have worked great for Baen Books, and you would love this. If you like old Elizabeth Moon stuff that they used to do, Lois McMaster Bujold, David Weber, my series are going to be for you. Actually, Grok told me that my writing style is very similar to Bujold and Weber, with leaning towards Bujold. So it's something that you will absolutely enjoy. Start right here on this trilogy today. It's epic. It's about a human who embeds himself on an alien starship to bring back information to humanity in the middle of the war that's crucial to the war efforts against them. And it builds up in this beautiful trilogy. So it's available on ebook, print, and audio. I know a lot of people have new Audible credits at the beginning of the month. Check it out. It's in the description below. Thank you so much, guys. And I'm writing a new trilogy that's spinning out of this year, space exploration. I'm going to do Star Trek better than Star Trek's ever done it before. And oh my gosh, I'm in love with what I'm doing right now, guys. You are going to be so thrilled. So start here. Thank you guys for reading. This is great stuff. So like I said, Baen Books is like caught in this like cycle of being, I guess, in the 90s still. And they used to be kind of innovative. Like what they did here was innovative 30 years ago. They put out electronic advanced reader copies, which are e-ARCs, right? And so you could download an electronic version of a lot of your favorite authors' books ahead of time. And that way they could get feedback on it and actually change some typos and stuff like that before it went to print. It's good for readers who got to have ebooks directly and own their own ebooks, which Amazon doesn't allow you to do anymore, so something different, right? And of course, got fans a sense of community also, right? Because you're now, you could send some information in, interact with the authors. It was really nice. And of course, a lot of people interacted on Baen's Bar, which was a web forum, which everybody loved back in the day. I was on there. I would ask questions to authors, and they were friendly to me back then before their corporate told them not to be because I'm a reporter. And they just never updated with new media. Their website here is, it like looks like it's something out of like 1999 or something. It's terrible. And hard to sell books on this. You don't even know what's going on here. I get that there's new releases and advanced. What are these? Like, why are all these? Really no focus here. Makes it very, very difficult to get real information whatsoever. And so they just don't understand new media. They don't understand anything, and they've been trapped in this cycle for a long, long time. I reported, of course, on Fandom Pulse, which is our beautiful news Substack right here that covers all things in science fiction and fantasy as well, that Baen Books lost Larry Correia's new series because it was pitched to them. They declined it, and it went to this company called Arc Press. Now, this happened after a investor, Peter Thiel, tried to buy Baen Books, and they declined him. And because of that, Peter Thiel just started his own science fiction and fantasy press and pulled 3 Baen Books editors along with him. So it looks like they're just starting Baen Only Not with some capital seed money, and they're doing things. They've got Larry Correia, so it's literally Baen Only Not. And very interesting that this all went down. Peter Thiel's involvement and his investment group's involvement is big science fiction and fantasy news, despite some people claiming otherwise. Now, it's finally getting picked up and being talked about. This is Jason Sanford's blog. This is a Patreon where this guy talks about things happening in science fiction and fantasy, and a lot of people pay attention to this. Now, Jason Sanford is a woke leftist guy in like kind of mainstream circles. He sells some short stories from time to time. Really doesn't have much of a following for science fiction and fantasy, but he does have a following for the news he reports on it. And so that's what goes on here. And so with this, and I think it's, I don't know how big of a following it is. It's a lot smaller than what we got with Fandom Pulse, of course. But what we have is a situation here where he's actually reporting on my report, finally, which is the first time it's been acknowledged in the news anywhere so far. And so, pretty interesting stuff. Larry Correia actually went out and fought my reporting, and I don't know why. The guy's got a weird hate boner for me, and it just doesn't make any sense. But I reported on this ARC Press thing, which is entirely accurate. Baen has lost a lot. They've lost editors. They've lost some of Larry's productivity. They used to have like 80, 90% of his output. Now they're going to have, 50% of his output, right? And so that's going to be a revenue loss for them going forward. It is a big red flag for them. They've lost Christopher Ruocchio's story that they sold back to Daw Books, and of course everybody knows that that's one of the best series in science fiction. And with him going back to Daw, they don't have a younger, sort of generation that's going to be coming up, and they really haven't tried to develop anybody. It's really dire straits over there. A lot of their authors are getting older. John Ringo's getting older. He's doing some output. John Ringo's actually doing things on Substack now, and building there. Because again, the writing on the wall for traditional publishing is kind of not working out. David Weber's really getting older there, and those are great guys who write great fiction. But Baen doesn't have much coming out that's like the exciting thing that's going to like really drive sales. They've got a lot of mid-listers to no-listers on their roster now. And what happens with publishers like this is a author like Larry Correia makes millions of dollars for the publisher, and they fund all these other books basically based on that. And so that is their bread and butter that makes them able to publish and be a publisher of all these other people who don't really make money on the back end, because you've got a whole corporate structure to float at that juncture. And that's how every publisher works. That's not unique to Baen Books or anything like that. So if you're losing a percentage of the output of Correia going forward, which they are, you are in trouble financially. Now, there's other things going on there, which I'm investigating into. And instead of like just talking about this openly, like they're trying to like keep it some sort of secret that ARC Press and Peter Thiel tried to buy them, and that Peter Thiel and his investment group came in and actually started ARC Press, like and poached all these people. I mean, it's obvious what's going on, and it's obvious that people are jumping ship because they see that they're not moving forward, and you could tell just by, like I said, their marketing, their lack of marketing, that they're not moving forward, and it's a problem for them. Now, authors at Baen Books have told me that they're frustrated with lack of marketing. They're frustrated with any sort of lack of anything going on. They don't even have a publicist working on things at this point. They don't have anybody. We at Fandom Pulse get about 400,000 views a month now. And has Baen reached out? I've actually reached out to them, said I would love to do author interviews. Have I gotten anything? Zero, right? Very weird. So strange stuff like that. They're welcome on my channel too, but nothing. Now, what they did this week was the editor-in-chief of Baen, Tony Weisskopf, and the editor-in-chief of ARC Press, DJ Butler, went on a podcast, like a live stream that had like 15 people watching, to talk about this and claim there's no rivalry between them, which doesn't make sense because they literally are competitors in the same business. So I'm like, the lady doth protest too much. And they filibustered the entire time. They refused to answer questions. I was one of the few people in the chat. A lot of my fans came in there. Hi, guys. And I started asking the pertinent questions. Did Peter Thiel try to buy Baen Books? What happened with that? Why did you say no? What's happening with ARC Press? Why is Peter Thiel's involvement in this happening? Do you have any information on that? Does Baen Books have financial troubles? And of course, they refuse to answer any of those questions. Now, the refusal to answer the questions is big answers by themselves. DJ Butler actually talked over Tony Weisskopf the entire time, wouldn't even let her, she's the head of Baen Books, talk about anything. He just filibustered, went crazy. He actually kicked me out of his Discord because they didn't want me, talking about these situations, and then went on some rant about me as well. So clearly, they're trying to cover things up, and I don't get that. Like, again, I'm a very open book about everything that we do here, and I love communicating with my fans and everything, and everything that's going on. It's 2025. Like, it's new media. Like, this is how it works. And so I am the only real science fiction journalist out there. Jason Sanford's literally just listing my work here and then listing Larry Correia's response. So that's it. But you notice how they frame this, though. Correia denies claims he's leaving Baen Books. I haven't seen anybody claim that he's leaving Baen Books. So I don't, again, like, they answer questions that are not being asked. So it leads me to believe, like, wait, is he doing that? Because I've never seen anybody claim that. It's like very weird responses to all this, which make me believe there's something amiss here. And what I believe is amiss, because they wouldn't be if everything was going great, these people wouldn't be hostile. They'd be like, oh, yeah, John, like, Larry's doing his thing. We've got some great stuff coming down the pipeline. Here it is. That's how you respond professionally, right? But there's been nothing professional about anything that's happened here and transpired here. It's been the opposite. So prominent right-wing SFF writers have been exchanging fire over possible fate of Baen Books in recent weeks. Started with Fandom Pulse, a conservative genre news site on Substack. Thank you for calling us that, James Sanford. Reported on January 30th that a new company named Arc Press has been launched by Peter Thiel and his investment group, putting a big target on the back of Tony Weisskopf's Baen Books. And it has, because they are competing for the same space. That is true. The article, titled How Donald Trump Advisor Peter Thiel Completely Upended Science Fiction and Fantasy Publishing, reported the publisher would launch with a new series by Larry Correia. In addition, the article implied Baen Books was in trouble, having laid off several employees in the last year. That's true and confirmed, including longtime editor Jim Mintz and company publicist Sean C.W. Korsgaard. Also true. Phantom Pulse wrote that Thiel had previously come to Baen Books with an offer to buy the company and inject capital to modernize it and preserve Baen for the next generation. But Baen editor Tony Weisskopf declined the offer. Yes. And that's my understanding of what's happened based on my inside sources, which I've confirmed. And I took a lot of time and a lot of talk to different people confirming this. Phantom Pulse followed the article saying Larry Correia announces he's going fully independent. So what happened was Larry tried to sweep this under the rug in a weird way, where he said, I have several projects under contract with Baen. I love Tony Weisskopf. I hear certain people are trying to stir up outrage clicks. Again, saying Peter Thiel is starting an investment company is not an outrage click. It's just an interesting news item. I'm not outraged by it whatsoever. I like it. I love that Peter Thiel's doing this. I think it's cool. Spreading dumb rumors about some publishers. Again, there's no rumors that have been spread whatsoever. It's just completely what authors have told me, and I've got quotes from authors in the article. I've even got quotes from DJ Butler, your buddy, in the article. So it's all factual. This is completely a lie from Larry Correia, which, again, why is he working so hard to cover this up? Like, when it's just information that's going to come out there. It seems I just found information that they didn't want me to find and they weren't ready to come out with yet, and so they're just trying to cast doubt on the messenger rather than actually talk about the substance of what's going on. That's what Larry did. So he said in addition to this, he says he's actually doing his own indie thing on top of it, which means Larry's further diversifying out of Baen Books, which means I'm right. There's an issue with Baen Books. If Larry Correia is diversifying, that doesn't mean things are going great at Baen. That means he's scared that there's problems there, clearly. And that's why they're mad at me, right? I highlighted that. I brought it to light. It's very obvious. It's called inferring based on information. It's logical deduction, right? And you're not supposed to do that, right? They don't want that happening. And so it's interesting to see what's going on here. So what happened was on this live stream, DJ Butler just started swearing at me because of my questions about Peter Thiel. Very, very weird. And again, he did a lawyerly thing, and the guy's a lawyer by trade, where he didn't actually answer the questions about Peter Thiel. He claimed that Peter Thiel has enough money to buy Baen Books if he wanted to, and I didn't say that he didn't. In fact, my sources told me that it's not about money, that Tony Weisskopf just doesn't want to sell because she wants to preserve Baen the way it is or whatever. And from everything I understand at the company, she's a very controlling person about what Baen is, etc. She even sends handwritten notes to authors on books, even newer authors, and reads every single one of them and gives notes to change herself as the editor-in-chief and publisher, which there's no way she should be doing that. That's how she spends her time. And that's probably why Baen is not market-facing and actually trying to move and actually change their marketing strategies, because she's too busy doing that. That's not really. It's good editorial, and she's a great editor, and I know this, but it's not good business, and that's probably what's happening here. Okay, so he directly refuted allegations he's going independent or abandoning Baen. He did not, and so this is where Jason Sanford's wrong. He did say in this very post that he is releasing independent books in addition to this, so that he did not do that, and he is abandoning Baen with a good portion of his work, because he's now got work that's independent and with Arc Press, where he didn't have that before. So he didn't. That's the main thing that's happening here. So interesting stuff here as this goes on. Now, this is finally getting talked about. This is from Reddit, where there is a writing sort of deal. What's the situation at Baen Books? And this is from our publishing. I received an email. I'd gotten out of their slush pile. They were kicking it upstairs to give it a closer look. I know it's still a long shot. My only correspondence was a check-in sent a few months ago. Said there's still 12 books in front of me. So, by the way, you put your book into these slush, you're waiting 2 years for them to publish it. I mean, it's insanity to do that at this point. Then I hear the news about how their top writer has jumped ship, and all sorts of political stuff is throwing them into some kind of turmoil because of the election. Don't want to talk about that here one way or the other, unless it relates to what's going on. I've given up at this point. I still count this as a win. Manuscript is my fantasy magnum opus. Good for this person. And I recommend just self-publishing at this point. There's no reason to wait 2-3 years for a publisher to pick you up. I mean, that's insanity. You're failing at that point. So this person commented to add on, and this is where it gets really interesting. I was at a writing conference with staff from Baen that has moved over to Arc Press, and Arc Press had a booth there. The vibe I got is Baen is quickly on its way out. Now, this is a independent person reporting, and this is clearly a leftist, by the way, somebody on the opposite side of the aisle. And the vibe she got from talking to Arc Press people is Baen is on the way out, despite all their protesting this entire time. That Arc is a poor replacement run by men who are far too out of touch and clearly aren't keeping up with trends. Oof. I was with another friend, a woman who wanted to pitch to Arc, and they shut her down, basically saying they're catering to a male audience. They can't have any sassy female characters solving everything with their sassiness. This came directly from one of their senior editors, and this was before she'd even pitched a story to them. That's very interesting. They were quite condescending after the fact, trying to explain how writing a book works to the two of us. It was interesting, to say the least. So this is pretty interesting on this front. The vibe is Baen is on its way out, and it's not going well. From a convention, from what Arc Press people are saying directly. This directly contradicts everything they've said publicly online, where they pretend that, oh, we're just friendly, and had DJ Butler talking over Tony Weiskopf to try to hide everything that's going on a live stream interview. Now, these people are hiding. They've both companies have blocked me rather than attempting to talk about this stuff. They refuse to talk to any reports on this stuff. And they're pretending. It's a very weird situation. If this is the case, and if this is what's happening, it's exactly what I've been reporting here. Now, this person is of course, lambasting them for being kind of on the right-wing side. And, of course, that's what you're going to get from these people. I mean, I don't know why these people try to virtue signal all the time. I saw a list of their current authors. Their book descriptions prove they don't know where they're going whatsoever. Genre is all over the place. Audience, very narrow subset of conservative groups, leading conspiracy theorists. They're looking to the past. They want to emulate books that were published decades and decades ago, which doesn't sound like a goal when keeping up with the very fast-paced publishing world, staying on top of trends. This is a company with other things they told us in person and what they've been posting online. Yeesh, doesn't look good at all. If Baen is a dinosaur, Arc came before that. That's pretty funny. You just need to look at the official Arc Press Twitter account, what they post retweet, and of course it's political stuff. Doesn't surprise me that they were condescending to female writers in person. Unfortunately, the way the country is going wouldn't surprise me if they hang on, because the current audience is going to die out, but there's still young cohorts to replace them. Very interesting on that front, and this is, again, what they're saying on Reddit about this from a different source. But the takeaway here is that Baen staff have gone to Arc Press. Larry Correia is, of course, diversifying, And on top of it, the vibe that they're putting off is that Baen is on its way out. And this is what I'm hearing. And like I said, authors are telling me from Baen Books, things are not going well. Sales are not going well. They're getting zero marketing and publicity help, and they desperately need it. Now, I want both of these to win. I like Baen Books. There's a lot of good authors over there. There's a good conservative Christian authors who I want to succeed, and I want to support them. There's good people over at Arc Press who are conservative, and I want them to succeed, and I want to support them. But they're all doing this completely wrong, and of course, lashing out at people like me for reporting what's going on rather than doing what they need to do to make a sustainable business. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Interesting that the left-wing news is now picking this up in science fiction. Hit the like and subscribe button. Please check out my books, guys. This starts with the Eurasian War. We have a lot of great stuff coming this year. I can't wait to get this new trilogy to you. Read here. Please start with the alternative to mainstream publishing. We are doing it all, have a beautiful community, and we're building something great. Read The Stars Entwine today. It's available on ebook, print, and audio in the description below. Thank you for being here.